You've made it to Speak Straight YouTube. My name's Samuel and I'm the founder of Speak Straight. Firstly, let me apologize for the black eye. Best advice I can give right now is keep your guard up when you're boxing or kickboxing or whatever. Just keep those hands up, otherwise you're gonna get caught in the face. I wanted to make a slightly different video today that I've usually made. As you can see from the title, it's how I got into Web3, enthusiast to founder. So a little bit of a backstory about me. I was not a great student, didn't tend to listen, got some GCSEs, but I was a salesman through school. I made the most money with my service-based business where I'd go around my local area and find jobs that needed doing. If I'd reinvested that money, I'd sometimes think where I'd be now, but I didn't. I spent it on sweets and traveling so I could get the train all over the country, which I don't regret at all. I did go to college for 3 months to study agriculture, which was a horrendous experience, before joining the military, which again failed miserably. I don't know about you, but I'm just really not very good at being told what to do. Let me know in the comments whether or not you like being told what to do. Then from the military, I jumped into mental health care, and my hat goes off to the amazing people that can continuously do this for years and years of their lives, because I struggled. It affected me more than trying to start a business ever has. The first time I started a company, I was 20 or 21, and it was a construction company. I was a dry liner, which basically means you build walls inside buildings, residential and commercial, which is a cool experience. Learned a load of cool stuff about sending invoices, being your own boss, and starting to get people to do the jobs that you don't want to do, or delegating. The money's great, but the lifestyle is not so great. It's really not good for your health. During COVID, like most people, I think, I was unemployed. And to keep myself busy, because I couldn't find anything, I decided to teach yoga to people in my area, which went really well. I really enjoyed it, made some awesome people, learned a lot more about content marketing and social media marketing, and really about outreach. You know, speaking face to face with people, for me anyway, I find it quite easy and really enjoyable, but there was definitely a barrier to get over where it came to speaking to people online. I was never the greatest at, but I'm very happy to say I'm getting better and better every single day. I had to do a brief jump back into construction coming close to the end of COVID so that I could pay rent and live and bills and eat food and all of these normal things that everyone has to do. But it's from there that my amazing girlfriend helped me find an opportunity in a startup as a marketing and communications officer. I think that's what the title is, but what I've learned is that titles don't really matter. And it all kind of started in that first interview. I'd had crypto and blockchain tech on my radar for a little bit. I hadn't done any major investing up until more recently, but the investing that I was doing was helping me pay things like my phone bill, which was good. But back to the interview, which is kind of where it all started. I really wanted this job, right? I hadn't had an office job before, never worked in front of a computer that paid me any kind of decent living wage. So I did everything that I could to get this job. I'm quite a people's person. I find it quite easy to talk to people. So I thought I'd just make a presentation about who I am and why they should hire me and why I want to work for them, opposed to just kind of sitting there and going through my CV, which went really well, really, really well. I empower anyone that wants a job to do that. It shows initiative and proactive. And, you know, there's people with degrees that wanted this job that didn't get it, but got to keep the ego in check. So it's from there that I really dove into running a large social media. This social media had like 90,000, 95,000 reach in total. And I grew that to like 100,000. It's in this role that I really started to dive in and realized that I could learn more through courses, through going to events, through YouTube videos. I really dove into the research and what Web3 is and the different aspects of what it is and where it can go. But I always had that communicable personality. I always wanted to speak to people, and that's where I fell in love with community management initially. And when I got promoted to the role of community manager, I was running all of the social media. I was implementing ambassador programs. I was working on growth strategies and implementing process flows, which was an awesome experience. And I'm so glad I had the chance to do that. From there, I started working with other clients. I started reaching out. I was like, okay, I feel like I'm pretty good at this. I'm pretty good at building these ambassador programs. They work pretty well. I enjoy it. I get to do presentations and I get to do some design, and it's kind of content creation and sales, and I get to talk to the camera, and I get to do live streams and do group calls, and it was a really exciting time, really good fun. So I thought, okay, how can I do this more? So I started making more content. I started doing YouTube again. I started when I was younger. If you search me, you might find it. But I started doing YouTube properly, and I started using social media properly because I was never really a massive social media fan. It's always really been a tool for me, but I never really leveraged it as much as I could until I got older and got into a tech role. And then I didn't really have to do much outreach to begin with, because the content that I was creating specifically on LinkedIn was bringing me quite a lot of traffic. People were reaching out to me asking for my help in their business, and that's where I got my first client. I'm not going to name drop, but it was a really exciting time when that happened, and they started paying me in crypto. So this is the first time in my life really that I'd had two solid streams of income that were manageable, right? That I could stay in my house making that online money, you know? And that was really, really exciting. It's really good fun as well, because time management is a really important part of just life. I think you got to make time for health and food and different clients and whatever it is you're doing, and whatever works for you. You just kind of have to do your best with your time, because we all have the same 24 hours. But before I get too preachy, let's keep going. And then we're kind of up to now, right? And I started reaching out to new clients to kind of expand my business, and it's working really, really well. Now, I don't like to make everything about money, but I've doubled my income 3 times this year, and I'm hoping for that same kind of growth. But when you start jumping, you hit different obstacles. So you can, at my level anyway, like I'm a founder, yes, but I'm still very much an enthusiast within the space. There's a lot of people that know a lot more than me, and I love the chances that I get to talk to those people about what they do. It's every other day now that I have the opportunity to speak to someone new in the space, or a new VC, or a new founder, or a startup, not to really get anything from them, but just to build my network within the space, right? And that definitely doesn't get enough light shone upon it, right? There's always the saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I think it's a massive balance of both, right? In some instances, you're never going to be able to get to where you need to be if you don't know what you're doing, right? So I wouldn't have been able to get into this space if I wasn't good at talking to people. That's the specific avenue that I took. But I also wouldn't have been able to have some of the opportunities that I have if people hadn't introduced me to other people. I had the opportunity to go to Berlin the other day for an event which I was invited to because of what I'm doing in the space. And I had a lovely chat with the founder of that, and such a fantastic team. If you want to see that video, it's the NBX vlog. I'm not going to link it anywhere in the video because you might click off and ruin my retention rate. To kind of sum up, going from an enthusiast to becoming a founder, if that's what you want to do, or you want to really just break into Web3, it sounds so cliche, but look at yourself, look at what your strengths are, and then find someone that needs that. Build your network, go to events, especially if you're young. I don't really think age has much to do with it, other than when you get older, it's just a fact that you gain more responsibilities, especially if you start having children. Now, I'm not going to get preachy. I don't have kids. I'm lucky to be young and not have kids for the moment. So I have these opportunities where I can fly to Berlin in the middle of the week and I can go to London for meetings, and it doesn't really impact what's going on in my day-to-day life. So I just empower anyone and everyone that has an idea or that wants to do something or that wants to try something new. Just do it. Just chase it. Do it. It's the best thing you can do, because you're only going to kick yourself if you don't. And I think once you start taking opportunities, like, you have to turn opportunities down, right? You have to say no sometimes. And that's an important factor as well. Like, you can't take on too much work, otherwise you'll burn out. And burnout, trust me, is something that I'm very, very familiar with. Finding that balance is really important. But on an honest level, the best way to get in is, one, drop me a message and we can talk about what you want if you don't know how you want to break into it. And two, ask yourself what it is that you're good at. And if you say nothing, there's always something. If you say there's nothing, then learn something. It sounds so cliche. Again, you hear all the Instagram gurus and whatever saying it, but there is an element of truth to it. You just have to do it your way. You know, I do compare myself every now and again to people. I think the majority of people do that. But you just have to remind yourself that, yes, they may inspire you and you want to do things a similar way to how they've done it. But at the end of the day, you are yourself, and the best way for you to do something is your way. I don't know, that might just be because I hate people telling me what to do. I just feel like my way is the best way to do it. But it's been working for me. And as I've been putting myself first and taking care of myself and putting in effort as well, right? Like, it all depends on how you break up your time. It starts to get better. It's hard, and you've got to learn, and learning's hard. Not learning is also hard. Life's hard, right? But choose your hard. Sound like an Alex Hormozy puppet or something, but just do what works for you. Block your time. Like, I've got friends that work from like 7 till 9, and that's how they do it. And they have no break because that's what works for them. Me personally, I block my time, right? I do my mornings, and then I have time to do whatever I want, to exercise, to go outside, to eat, spend time with my family or my friends. And then I block it again in the afternoon, and then again in the evening, and you block it up like that. And that works for me. So I said I didn't want to get preachy and go off on some kind of tangent, which I think I have. I think my editor's going to hate me. Fayad, thank you for all of your hard work. And thank you everyone for supporting me and watching me and encouraging me, right? Like, the people you surround yourself with is really important. Businesses or friends or family or whatever. It's important to have people around you that want to see you do well. I know not everyone's lucky enough to have that, but you can definitely find them. And that's, again, where networking comes in. If you don't know how to network, then you just literally have to talk to people. Best way to practice networking, I find, is go into shops and just talk to the people that work there. That worked for me. And I have a community of that as well. It's great. So if you want to get involved in that community, let me know, especially if you're in the Gloucestershire area. But yeah, I didn't want this video to be super long, so I'm just going to call it here. But again, thank you all so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Remember, keep the guard up, speak straight.